And now for something completely different.
Hello everyone, it's the Final Starman here, and today I'm doing a video that's different from what I usually do, because today is the 25th anniversary of Earthbound, I think. Earthbound's my most favourite game I've ever played, and I wanted to share that with you. So today I'm going to share with you every single reference, Easter egg, and in-joke throughout Earthbound and Mother 2. Fun. The name Mother is said to be inspired by a song of the same name by John Lennon. Shigeru Itoi, the creator of Earthbound, reportedly chose this because his own father was absent for much of his life, which gave him strong attachments to his mother. This also may be the reason why in Earthbound the player's father only makes appearances over the phone. Earthbound's bright and colourful overtone that suppresses a dark nature was said to be inspired by Itoi's favourite authors such as Stephen King and Kurt Vonnegut. The Mr. Saturn were inspired by Kurt Vonnegut's Trypomedorians, a species of silly-looking aliens that appear in his novels. Itoi says that the Mr. Saturn are supposed to symbolize innocence in the game. The Saturns use an unusual dialogue font in both the English and Japanese versions of the game, the latter of which is based off Itoi's daughter's handwriting at the time. In Mother 2, the Japanese version, the writing above most doors reads drug, but in Earthbound, the Western version, it says shop instead. Similarly, the hospitals in Mother 2 have a red cross on them, but not in Earthbound, but this is because such a symbol is trademarked by the American Red Cross organization. In various parts of the game, a red truck can be seen. In Mother 2, the truck has the word come on the side with a swirl, but in Earthbound it's a running stick man. This is likely not to draw similarities to the Coca-Cola logo. The Runaway Five are a reference to the Blues Brothers. They were originally called the Konzura Brothers and had their design changed to avoid a copyright infringement. The trumpet player in One It plays a slightly sped up version of Symphony No. 9 Movement 2 by Antonin Dvorak. The song Battle Against a Weak Opponent is a note-for-note recreation of the song Tequila by the Champs. The song Frankie contains an easily heard homage to the opening of Johnny Be Good by Chuck Berry. The song Megaton Walk contains a drum beat that sounds incredibly similar to the drum beat in Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, reprised by the Beatles. Inside Dungeon Man is a yellow submarine that the player uses to go to deep darkness. The game assures us that the color is purely coincidental, further suggesting that the submarine is a reference to the song We All Live in a Yellow Submarine by the Beatles. The Happy Happiest in Mother 2 bear the letters HH on the hats and don't have a pom-pom, unlike in Earthbound. This is done to draw away any parallels to the KKK. Additionally, the Happy Happiest wanting to play the world blue can be considered a play on the phrase paint the town red. The battle against Captain Strong draws parallels to the Rodney King incident in 1991, in which a taxi driver was pulled over and beaten by 4 police officers and a sergeant. In Earthbound, the player has to fight against 4 police officers and a sergeant. The Hint Guy stand is similar to Lucy's psychiatry stand from Peanut. In One It, you get asked a question by someone on the other side of a building. Name this Beatles song, XXX Today, where the player can only answer yes or no. This is a reference to the song Yesterday by the Beatles. When you are transported somewhere in Moonside, the surfer dude says hello and goodbye, a reference to the Beatles song Hello, Goodbye. The Starmen are reportedly named after the David Bowie song Starman, although it could be named after the aliens from the 1950s sci-fi film The Day the Earth Stood Still. The Casey Bat is named after the poem Casey at the Bat, in which Casey is the savior of a baseball game with his unrivaled strength. However, he lets his cockiness get to him and intentionally misses the first 2 swings, only to unintentionally miss the third. The Casey Bat has a 25% chance to hit, in reference to the poem. Even though technically it should be a 33% chance to hit, since Casey only swung the bat 3 times. So, some of the default names for all of the characters are the names of Beatles members. Ness is John Lennon. Paul is Yoko Ono, Lennon's wife. Jeff is Paul McCartney. Who is George Harrison. And King is Ringo. Ringo Starr. Tessie's theme sounds remarkably similar to Strawberry Fields Forever by the Beatles. The Diamond Dog in Fire Ring is a reference to the song Diamond Dogs by David Bowie. The War Against Gaius screen at the beginning of the game is a reference to The War of the Worlds by H.G. Wells. After freeing the Runaway Five, one of the members sings "Money, That's What I Want" by the Beatles. The Dali's clock enemy in Moonside is a reference to the Salvador Dali painting The Persistence of Memory, although I'm pretty sure everyone knows what that painting is. Lost Underworld is a reference to Jules Verne's Journey to the Center of the Earth. The Level Up jingle sounds similar to the beginning of the Beatles song Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. The Liberty Bell from Monty Python's Flying Circus is sampled in the song Your Name, Please, which plays when the player is choosing character names.
Monty Python, the Flying Circus.
The background music when the player is accessing the Soundstone is a slowed down and compressed version of All You Need Is Love by the Beatles. The Good Old Days, the theme of the show Little Rascals composed by Leroy Shield, is used in Boris Cocktail, aka the Four-Side Cafe theme, along a distorted Star Spangled Banner. The song Moonside Swing samples Keep On Laughin' by Rick Ocasek. All You Need Is Love by the Beatles is sampled in the song Crossover Time and Space, which plays when the player first attempts to go back in time to defeat Gygas. Deirdre by the Beach Boys is sampled in The Place when the player is traveling through the Cave of the Past to Gygas. The weapons T-Rex Bat and Zip Gun are references to the glam rock band T-Rex and their album Boland's Zip Gun. Ness's name is a reference to Nintendo Entertainment System, or NES, which is pretty obvious. The city of Forsyth is based off the real-life city of New York, with the Monticelli Building and department store referencing the Empire State Building and Chrysler Building. Monticelli himself is likely a reference to then-Mayor Rudy Giuliani. Speed round! When the player travels with the Runaway Five, the main riff of Neil Young's Hey Hey My My can be briefly heard. Additionally, the Minor Birds appear in Deep Darkness. Neil Young once played in a band called the Minor Birds with Rick James. The music that plays in every store sounds like a solo version of the Beatles' When I'm 64. One of the favorite fruits the player can select is Honey Pie in reference to Wild Honey Pie by the Beatles. The player can also select Love as one of their favourite things, possibly referencing the song All We Need Is Love by the Beatles. An NPC in One Arcade calls Ness a real Rambo type, and Giant Step and Lilliput Steps are a reference to Gulliver's Travels, and one of the NPCs looks exactly like Mr. T. Aloysius Mensch, poking Piggy's father, is the exact opposite of Atticus Finch from To Kill a Mockingbird. And when I say that, I mean Aloysius Mensch's entire character was designed to be the exact opposite of Atticus Finch. He's just a parody of him, like a Bizarro World version. A sample from the Super Mario Bros. Theme can be heard in the background music when the player fights the slimy little pile. The player fights the Kraken, an already legendary monster who appears to resemble the Piranha Plant from Super Mario Bros. The second song played by the Runaway Fires resembles The Changeling by The Doors. The Mr. Baseball Cap item is a reference to the movie Mr. Baseball, in which an American baseball player plays for a Japanese team. Donkey Kong and Space Invaders arcade machines can be seen in the One at Arcade, and the main stage theme for Xevious can be heard in the background. In Mother 2, one of the preset names for all the characters are all Super Mario characters. Ness becomes Mario, Paul becomes Peach, Jeff becomes Luigi, Pooh becomes Toad, King becomes Yoshi, and favorite thing becomes Goal, and favorite food becomes Mushroom. In addition to the Mario default names, the player can also name the chosen four Takuya, Goroko, Tsuyoshi, Shingo, and Mashirorin for King. These are names of the now defunct Japanese boy band S-MAP, one of the most successful bands in all of Asia. Throughout the game, pencil and eraser statues block the player's path, and the player must obtain a pencil eraser and eraser respectively to get rid of them. In Mother 2, pencil statues are replaced with octopus statues, and eraser statues are replaced with statues of limbless dolls. This is a play on words, as the Japanese word for doll is kokeshi, and the Japanese word for eraser is keshi, so the item that clears the way is the kokeshi keshi. The octopus statues in Mother 2 are also a play on words. Octopus in katakana is what you see on screen, okuto pasu, which is also pronounced the name as this, which means put and pass. This refers to the fact that in order to go past the octopus statues, the player has to go back to Apple Kid to get the item that clears the way. In Foresight, the player can find a building with a notice outside that reads Meeting for Earthbound 2. In Mother 2, Peaceful Rest Valley is called Grateful Dead Valley in reference to the band The Grateful Dead. In Earthbound, particularly in Magican, the player can find a girl named Nico. Nico is the name of the real-life daughter of Marcus Lindblom, a localizer who worked on the game. The bridge the player crosses to get to Foresight is a parody of the Golden Gate Bridge. The music that plays when the player is flying in the Skyrunner is similar to Won't Get Fooled Again by The Who. It also makes a reappearance in Mother 3 under the title A Flying Whatchamacallit. In Earthbound, the player can give an NPC a contact lens, and in return they'll give the player a pair of dirty socks that can be used to immobilize an enemy. In Mother 3, Dusty can throw his socks at the enemy, but they have a much lower chance of success. The Foresight theme is a remix version of Because I Love You, which doesn't appear until much later in the game. Liar Exaggerate's name is a pun on the words liar and exaggerate. Talarama is a parody of the Dalai Lama. Stonehenge is an actual place in Brighton, England. The towns in Earthbound are named in the order that the player reaches them. The sum of all these places is 10, as alluded by the town of Summers and Tenda Village. The Sharks are based off one of the gangs from the musical West Side Story. Carbon Dog turning into Diamond Dog is a reference to the fact that carbon turns into diamond when put under extreme heat and pressure. Carbon Dog's Overlord sprite also shines brighter than other Sanctuary Guardians. This could also be a reference to the Queen song Under Pressure, which was co-written by David Bowie. The farm zombie resembles the pseudo-zombie from Earthbound Beginnings. A zap eel is just an electric eel. The tough guy is based off Arnold Schwarzenegger, and one of the sharks from the arcade will say, "Why don't you just beat it?" in reference to the Michael Jackson song, Beat It. King's name may be a reference to the song Old King by Neil Diamond, which he sings about a beloved dog who has since passed away. Pokey's dad's name, Aloysius Minch, is also a reference to the Bugs Bunny cartoon Beanstalk Bunny, in which Daffy provides it as a fake name. The storm from the boss Thunder and Storm holds a palm leaf, which in Japanese folklore is often used by magical creatures as a way to cause storms. Maxwell is based off James Clerk Maxwell, a Scottish physicist. Maxwell's Japanese name is Gauss, which may be based off Carl Friedrich Gauss, a German physicist and mathematician. Additionally, the first equation of James Clerk Maxwell's four equations is often known as Gauss's law. Finally, Polestar Preschool is a pun on Paula's name. In Japanese, Paula's name is Pola, while Polestar is spelled Porasuta, which means polar star. Thanks for watching. These are all the Earthbound Easter eggs throughout the entirety of Earthbound and Mother 2. Well, I think. There probably are more, but I don't know about them yet, so... But this is a pretty concise list of all of the most common ones, and even a few uncommon ones that people haven't actually known about. So, thanks for watching. If you like this video, feel free to subscribe or check out the other videos on my channel. Okay, thanks. Bye.